Echo. We're at the point where you get to pick who you're gonna go after. And we're gonna go after TJ because that's how it's supposed to progress. I'm really worried about TJ. He's a sensitive guy, and after a tongue lashing like that from someone like Flynn, I can't imagine what state he's in. I don't see him anywhere as I scan the area, but I do see some trees and bushes further along the riverbank. Since there's really no other place to hide, I assume that's where he's at. Sure enough, I see him immediately. He's sitting down, knees drawn up with his arms folded up on top of them. He's got his forehead resting on the top of his arms, staring down at the sand between his legs. I stand there for a moment, wondering if it will just be better to leave him alone. After a few seconds, I finally decide to sit down next to him, cross-legged. His ears flick in my direction and he turns his head to the left away from me. I notice a few wet spots between his feet. Maybe he just wants to be left alone now. I hate you, TJ. I decide that I need to break the silence. Hey, Tej. He doesn't say anything or move. You know how Flynn is? He's a dick. Again, silence. Everyone knows he's a dick. No one's mad at you. He does move, then sliding his legs out straight and leaning back on his paws. He's still looking away from me, rubbing his face on his shoulders. You want to go back and eat? Finally. I can't believe he did that in front of everyone. I'm not sure what to say, so I stay quiet. After a minute, TJ finally turns his head, looking into the river. The wind picks up. Reflections from the river highlight motes of dust that swirl up around us. His face fur is a bit mushed up, spiked up in a few places from being wet. It's an unusual sight to see his fur unkempt. I mean, what the heck? TJ, unable to curse, even though it would probably be the best thing for him. He adjusts his legs to sit cross-legged like me and wipes his face again. Did you know what he was talking about? I take a breath, unsure about how I should approach this. I think so? TJ's ears lower. Listen, no one else thinks anything happened. We were so little, especially you. I mean, I can't believe he's doing this. I trace a claw through the dirt, drawing some wavy pattern as I try to make sense of all this myself. I think it's just because he was such good friends with Sydney, and he just wants more than the truth. I look sideways at TJ. He's just sitting there looking at the ground. And I guess you were the only one that saw what happened, so he only has you to go after. I saw him drown. I don't say anything, but I feel myself cringe inwardly. Pretty soon, tears are running down TJ's face, but he doesn't bother to wipe them away. He's not just sad, though. He's angry. I hear it in his voice as he goes on. I saw Sydney drown, and Flynn thinks he's the only one that hurts? He thinks that he's the only one that feels like he's in a nightmare? Well, maybe. His voice cracks and he looks away from me again, wiping out his face. Maybe I haven't told him everything because I don't want him to have those images in his head. TJ takes a moment to steady his voice, working to get his breathing back to normal. I just wish I could go back to that day. TJ, there's nothing you could have done. I know my words are meaningless crap, and I hate myself for saying them. But I have to say something. Not one of us would have been able to do anything if we were there. You would have. Well, besides, I already know I couldn't have saved them on my own. That isn't what... TJ takes a moment to wipe his face again, and then he's done. He doesn't go on. We sit in silence for a long while after that, and I adjust myself so that I can lean back against the rock behind me. I pat the ground. Sit next to me, Tej. He's calmed down for the most part, and after a few moments, he does crawl over to sit by me. I pick up a few pebbles and toss them into the river. Remember when we used to call it Seesaw River? Yeah. He leaves it at that, so I drop it. I rest my head back and close my eyes, only then realizing how tired I am. In some way, I can see why Flynn is so suspicious, or at least why he believes there's more to the story. There clearly is. But while I do want TJ to tell me more about what happened, I could never bring myself to ask him. I honestly feel that if I ever want to help him with his past, I should probably come to terms with it myself. I crinkle my brow, toying with the idea of going back. It's something I actively avoid thinking about. We all do. But like Jenna said, maybe talking about it, thinking about it, might actually help. I dig my fingers into the pebbles on either side of me. The images come in a quick flurry, like someone cycling through a Viewmaster too fast. The sky is overcast, the air crisp autumn. TJ is sitting in a daze, Jenna running back to town, Flynn pulling me into the water, me grabbing onto neck scruff, pulling back to shore, Carl sitting on a rock, bawling. Leo starts trying to do compressions, and Sydney just stares. Sirens, the helicopter rotors, adults everywhere. I'm home. My mom's holding me. Dad puts on my favorite movie. I watch. But still, Sydney stares. I open my eyes again and the world is blurred. The light reflecting off the river makes me squint. I rub my eyes with the back of my paw and it comes away wet. My chest hurts and so does my head, throbbing and buzzing. I look over and luckily for me, TJ is leaning back with his eyes closed like I was. If revisiting that day is so horrible for me, I can't imagine what it's like for him. I decide right then and there that I'm not going to press TJ on what happened. If he wants to tell me more, he'll do it on his own accord. I kind of want to swim again, but at the same time, I don't. That day really fucked up my view about the water. He's ruined the whole trip. TJ speaks suddenly, and I look over at him. Flynn? No, he hasn't. TJ does look at me. Then, I'm struck by how disheveled and sad he looks. I feel anger bloom in my chest, all of it directed at Flynn. What a selfish prick, thinking he had the right to ruin everyone's good time just because he felt like shit. If he were right here right now, I'm pretty sure I'd punch him right in the gut. Listen, we don't all need to hang out to have fun. We had fun at the park with just you, me, and Carl, remember? If Flynn wants to be a douchebag, then let him. We'll do our own thing. TJ sniffs and I see his tufted ears perk up a little. Didn't you want to go on a hike to the trail? He smiles at that and looks at me. You didn't want to go to a hike, I could tell. I grin. That's because it's so freaking hot. But seriously, we didn't come here to just lay in the motel all week. And we can bring water, just dump it on yourself every half hour. That's how I manage, along with taking plenty of breaks. TJ leans back and spreads his legs out. I can see he's starting to get excited at the prospect of hiking, and that makes me feel better. Well, if you're able to do it, I guess I shouldn't complain. I look over his fluffy form, which by itself is enough to make me sweat even more than I already am. You know, I always thought you'd go back after you graduated high school. To the Great White North. I say it dramatically, nodding upwards as if it's where it is. Your parents did. TJ's family moved to Echo when he was only 6 from a small town called Wasatachua? His dad got a job in Echo to survey the land or do something with the wildlife. I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh, well, I don't really remember it, but I might after I graduate. They have some things up there that sound really nice. Free healthcare? Yeah, I guess. And snow. For a moment, I wonder if snow is to a lynx as water is to an otter. A lot of snow did sound kind of exciting to me, though. Here, we'd be lucky to see a single dusting of it a year. Where I live, I don't get to see it at all. So, you're serious about hiking with me? Of course. I'm gonna bring some of my equipment too. I think I want to get some shots of the canyon. Okay. He waggles his furry feet back and forth, and I hide a grin of enthusiasm. Alright, so We're gonna have to get up there around 6. Oh, I want to be able to make it to the canyon for lunch, where we can rest for an hour or two then. You can tell how excited TJ is by how much he talks. Well, if anyone's good at planning things out at a ridiculously meticulous level, it's TJ. We sit there for another 20 minutes or so and just talk, mostly about school and what our plans are once we graduate. I promise TJ that we'll meet up again before I do. That's when I get a text from Jenna asking where we are. I stand up, brushing off my pants before reaching down to help TJ up. Well, we better go back. Guess they're all wondering where we are. When we get back, everything's packed up and in the van along with Carl and Jenna. Leo's leaning against the van, waiting for us, his paws in his pockets. He looks at me, then over at TJ, obviously trying to gauge his mood. Everything good? Yeah, TJ answers before I can, and whether or not he actually is okay, he sounds happy enough. Well, alright then. We get in the van, and at that point, no one is saying anything as we make the short drive back to the motel. As we get out, Leo tells us all that he's going to have a word with Flynn, and, despite the spoiled afternoon, we still had stuff to do over the week. I'm not too convinced myself that will happen. I am convinced that it's gonna be awkward as fuck if we do. Leo leaves for work at that point, though Carl does end up coming in with us to the motel room. The rest of the day is pretty uneventful. We watch a few movies, then go to the diner for dinner. Afterwards, we just sit in the room and talk, Carl filling us in on how things have been in the town over the past 3 years. It's not long before the conversation drifts back to Flynn and his outburst. I think he's just angsty because he's realizing how shitty it's been without you guys. Trust me, he's already kicking himself for it right now. Even if he is, it doesn't mean anything unless he apologizes. Aw, you know how he is, Jenna. He's sorry even if he won't say it. I don't care. He's going to have to realize that none of us have to put up with him anymore. Hey, why don't we all just get some ice cream? I've been wanting to go to Ray's ever since we got here. It's hard to tell if TJ is just trying to change the subject or actually wants ice cream. Probably both. If you want to drive half an hour to Peyton, sure. What? Why? They moved it there. It sucks. I haven't had their rocky road for years now. For a year now. Aww. Well, let's just stop by when we go to Peyton next. I assume we aren't staying in an Echo for the rest of the trip. Oh, Chase can take us. I just smile at him from my spot on the couch. Sure, why not? Yes, I love the cookie dough. What about you, Jenna? Jenna's busy looking at her own phone. Oh, well, I've always enjoyed their butter almond. It's hard to find that flavor anywhere else. TJ looks at me and I open my mouth to answer. But for a moment, I draw a blank. The memories of Ray's hazy and blurred. My head is still buzzing. Vanilla. I've been feeling pretty shitty ever since I've had that talk with TJ by the river. I make a mental note to steal some of Jenna's aspirin before I go to bed. Well, Flynn was right about one of us at least. Carl! What's wrong with that? No one does like vanilla. No one doesn't like vanilla. I grin, even though Carl's comment hurts me more than it should. He's still just joking after all. But I mean, who loves it, right? Personality of a rock. I think it's a good answer, especially if you put toppings on it. The buzzing picks up and I feel a dull pulse behind my eyes. The three of them continue to talk amongst themselves as I lean my head back against the couch. I close my eyes, trying to will away the pounding in my head. I open my eyes. The room is dark. Jenna is in her bed, TJ in his, Carl wrapped in a blanket on the floor. Aw, Carl. I lurch for my camera bag, then look around wide-eyed. I sit on the bed next to TJ and stare at the door. TJ stands at the edge of the lake, staring across the other side. He has one paw in his pocket, the other holding a beer. He takes a drink from it. TJ doesn't drink beer. He pulls the tab off the top, then flicks it towards the lake. It whizzes like a weed cutter, skipping across the water and kicking up spray. Suddenly, his ears snap up and he sees something I don't. He turns and starts to run. He's at a dead sprint when his leg snaps out from under him and he falls to the rock, beer splashing everywhere. A chain is pulled taut from the lake, connected to his ankle. I get up, wanting to help, but I can't. I look down, my wrist and ankle chained. Tuesday. It's still Tuesday. The sun is bright and I'm pretty sure I can smell the fur searing on the top of my head. It's the end of March, so it's not nearly as bad as it can be, but being right under the sun like this, we've only been on the trail for about 10 minutes at this point, but I'm already regretting it. Chase? TJ, who's been about 5 feet ahead of me, turns around. It's at that point that I realize he said something and I have no idea what it is. Everything okay? Yeah, sorry. What did you say? He looks concerned and walks back towards me. Remember, if you have a headache or feel sick to your stomach or you just start feeling like you're not yourself, don't worry, I'm fine. I try to give him a smile to show it's true, but he's already in the process of unscrewing a bottle of water from his backpack. No, wait, you don't have... He dumps half of it over my head, and I hurriedly unshoulder my camera bag. Watch the equipment! Sorry, Chase, but you're not having a heat stroke on my watch. You know, I've studied otter physiology. You guys don't do well in dry, hot environments. He's pretty close to me, having to dump the bottle over my head. I keep holding the bag away from my body while I look down at him, water dripping from my whiskers. Otter physiology? Yeah, it's like your body, its parts, and what they do. It's a little awkward that TJ knows how my body works for some reason. So like, you studied all our parts? The attempt at humor is weak in the first place, but I realize too late that I'm talking to TJ and that he probably wouldn't have laughed even if it was funny. He looks a little taken aback. Oh, well, yeah, we all have different anatomy, so it's important to... He trails off and I can tell that he's blushing. He frowns at me. Are you making fun of me? What? No, I was just trying. He turns away suddenly and starts back up the trail. We should keep going. It's an all-day hike. I follow him quietly. It's hard to judge the type of expression he had on his face. It wasn't exactly angry, more flustered. I'm pretty sure it's because he knows I like guys. Even in college, my straight male friends get uncomfortable when I joke about sex, like they think I'm coming on to them. TJ never told me how he feels about my sexuality. In fact, I know nothing about his sexuality. I think he dated one girl in high school, but that fell apart pretty quick. She had problems fitting in, so he befriended her. Obviously, she took it to him liking her, so she asked him out. TJ, of course, couldn't say no. He's always on a quest to make other people happy. Anyway, he definitely isn't homophobic. He seems really happy for me when he found out I was going out with Leo, and he seems really sad when he found out that we broke up. He doesn't exactly follow any particular Christian denomination that I know of. He hasn't even weighed in on the whole Jesus species debate. From what I gather, TJ just likes the spirituality of the whole thing. Once Leo told me that TJ is the type of Christian that Christians always say they are, but definitely aren't. I have to agree. 2 hours later, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to die. I'm practically stumbling after TJ, the lynx 15 feet ahead of me. He doesn't even notice either, cheerfully marching along the steep trail and over rocks as if they weren't even there. I'm dying. Literally dying. My foot slips and I faceplant. I lay there waiting for TJ's God to take me. Chase! I hear some stumbling and TJ slides up next to my body, sending a cascade of gravel over my head. Oh my gosh, are you okay? I hear the telltale sound of an unscrewing bottle. I turn my head to the side. No. A gush of water hits me in the face, and I jerk up, spurting and wiping out my eyes. For the love of God, TJ, stop it! Let's get you out into the shade. He grabs me around the arms and starts dragging me towards a big boulder. Calm down, I can walk. Are you sure? Yes. TJ's looking incredibly worried right now, hovering over me as I make my way to sit against the boulder. Dude, I'm fine. I'm just tired. I don't know how you do it. TJ keeps watching me, and once I sit down, he kneels next to me, then runs his paw through the fur on my forehead, feeling it with his paw pads. You're a little warm. You should rest here a bit. He takes out another bottle of water. It's like he brought 50 of those damn things. We should probably get your clothes wet. I put a paw on his shoulder. TJ, calm down. I'm fine. You sure? Because... TJ... He stops babbling and looks me in the eye, the water bottle in one paw, the cap in the other. What's up? He looks at me for a second, then breaks eye contact, slowly screwing the bottle back up. Sorry, I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm the one that asked you to come. I don't know why I'm doing that voice, and I'm sorry if it annoys people. I just feel that that's how he sounds. Relax, I'm just being a little dramatic. Alright, if you're sure. I am, but I could use a drink. He hands me the bottle. Good idea. Have you been making sure to drink lots? I have plenty. Yep, my piss is crystal clear. TJ's muzzle quirks as I take a long draft of water from the bottle. I cap it and burp. You know what? I think it's because I'm starving. When are we gonna eat? Not yet. We have to make it to the top first. I have some granola bars though. Ugh, dude. I'm hungry for real food. It is real food. Anyway, it'll be so much better if we do it at the top. Besides, this is the hardest part and it's almost over. It's like a downhill after this. Literally. I can tell he's getting anxious to start moving again, so I take one last gulp and get up. I don't get how you're so damn unaffected by the heat. Oh, I am. I just keep getting wet. While he talks, he starts pouring some water on his shirt. It sticks slick to his torso, showing off his tight chest and flat stomach, his navel a dark indent through the fabric. I make sure I don't stare too long, not wanting to make him feel awkward again. Either way, I can feel... Oh my god, Chase. Either way, I can feel my crotch area getting a little tight. Being in a hotel room with two other people didn't exactly give me much time to relieve my stress. Maybe my straight friends did have a reason to be wary. Maybe. I keep my eyes focused on TJ's. I guess it's how you can keep moving like you do here in the middle of the desert. Well, I run a few miles on the track every day at school. Jeez. We start up the trail again, TJ sticking by my side now. I feel bad about holding him back, but at least now it's less likely I'm gonna eat shit again. We did it! TJ looks over to the view as I stagger up behind him. I'm not as beaten up as I was earlier, but my legs are really starting to kill me. I lean over with my paws on my knees, panting. Swimming is definitely a better way to work out. TJ turns on me abruptly and I straighten up, smiling. TJ holds up both of his paws, grinning. High five! I slap them with gusto and TJ laughs, pulling off his backpack and sitting down on a rocky bench. I look at it, a little confused. What's this? A rock bench. It's always been here. I think some seniors from the old school made it. See? He scoots over, pointing at the back, and I look closer. Etched out in large letters and numbers, it says, Echo High, Class of 59. They used to paint the year on the canyon too. You can still see some of them. Sure enough, I see some white lines on the canyon wall. A 52 here, a 72 there. The school closed after 1980, so I assume there's nothing after that. I sit next to him and lean my head back, closing my eyes. While the hike had been a massive bitch, I still don't regret coming. Not just for TJ's sake, but also because there's something nice about being isolated like this, like we're the only people on Earth. I feel a weight fall on my lap and look down, expecting to see a tasty sandwich. Instead, I find a big, fat, hairy tarantula. I freeze as my brain is processing what's going on. Then I scream and take a swipe at it. at the same time doing a sort of spastic dance to the right. I slide off the bench and onto the ground where I roll several times to get away. Holy fucking shit, holy fucking son of a bitch! I roll on my feet and stumble back further away from the bench, I scanning the ground for a giant ass spider that I'm sure to be after me. That's when I realize TJ's laughing. Chase, calm down. It's He holds up a giant spider, its frozen rigidness telling me what he couldn't finish. Fake? TJ's still laughing, but I'm still hugging myself, shivering and flinching every time I see something spindly. I'm shocked, but not because of what happened, but because TJ did it to me. Fucking TJ. Feeling betrayed, I glare at him as he beckons me with a paw, wiping at his eyes with the other. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. But Jenna made me promise her that I'd do it. That figures. Jenna is the type to always play pranks, and yeah, I hate to say it, but it's because she's a fox. I run my arms up and down with my paws, shivering again. I can't believe you. You know how much I hate spiders. One of my worst fears had always been that of a tarantula getting in my room. I used to regularly shake out the bed sheets when I found out they lived around Echo. I'm sorry. I thought you might not even fall for it. You know the ones around here are blonde, right? Yeah, TJ, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I find a fucking spider on my lap. His ears do lower at that point, and he stops laughing, though I can tell he's trying not to smile. Listen, Jace, I'm sorry. Let's eat. I know you're hungry. My stomach is painfully hollow right now, so I slowly walk back to the bench. I try hard not to be such a spoiled sport as I reach out to take my plastic-wrapped sandwich from TJ. He squirts some hand sanitizer from a little bottle on my paws first before he lets me, though. We share a bag of chips and eat quietly for a few minutes, just taking in the nature. Still, even out here, I'm able to hear the train horns. I feel bad about the silence, though, since I'm worried TJ will think I'm mad at him. I mean, I'm annoyed, but he's just too damn innocent to actually be angry with. The sun's beating straight down on us at this point, and it's uncomfortable feeling my semi-damp shirt rub up against my fur. Setting aside my food for a moment, I strip off my shirt, the wetness giving me a bit of trouble. As I do this, TJ stiffens up next to me. I look over at him, right away. It's pretty clear he's trying not to look at me. I wonder if TJ is just one of those guys that's embarrassed about showing any kind of fur. He only ever took off his shirt to swim, and even then he always seemed embarrassed about it. At that moment, both of our paws slide into the chip bag at the same time, and TJ jumps, pulling his paw away. I look over at him, quirking an eyebrow. Sorry. For what? Never mind. I watch him take out his phone and look over the messages. When he turns the screen off, he pauses. I realize he's looking at his reflection, adjusting the fur on his face, pawing at both sides until he seems satisfied. Again, this is something he did when he was much younger, back when he was obsessed with his cheek ruffs being perfectly even. I don't say anything though, and just keep eating, bouncing on my own knees up and down. It's damn awkward, and I can't figure out why. Usually it's really easy to talk to TJ, mostly because he has a lot of things to talk about. I try to think of something to say. Remember when we made fun of you for the way you used to say sorry? TJ gives a bright, high-pitched laugh, and that makes me relax, feeling like I just broke an ice on a first date. Yeah, it was one of the first things that you said to me. I was trying so hard to fit in, and you just put me on the spot in front of everyone. The scene plays out in my mind as TJ talks, the image of a 7-year-old lynx looking way too small for his poofy winter fur. He just backed into me while trying to catch a ball thrown by Leo, and had turned around, full of smiles. Sorry. I pointed and laughed. Don't you mean sorry? That mortified look followed by what would become TJ's trademark run back home crying. I must have practiced that word 100 times when I got back home. There's a little pang in my heart at the image of a kid, TJ's saying sorry over and over again, trying to get it right. Well, I'm sorry for making fun of you for it. Why? It was so long ago. Besides, you were just assimilating me into the culture, sort of. If it makes you feel better, Leo did get mad at me after you ran away. TJ's having trouble keeping his lettuce wrapped turkey together. So, are you and him, doing alright? I think so. We had a good talk a few days ago. That's good. He gives up on holding the wrap together and instead just starts picking at the remnants from the plastic. Were you lonely after you left? I tried not to act surprised that TJ's asking me these questions. Yeah, really lonely. Had a terrible first semester. Ah, what about now? Kind of. I guess I just haven't been able to find someone I can connect to like I did with Leo. Hmm. Then again, GSA at the university is practically dead, so who knows? Maybe after I graduate. We eat in silence for a long while longer, and though it's less awkward, I'm still trying to figure out what brought TJ to ask those questions. I crumble up the plastic and toss it out into my backpack before getting up. Alright, now I gotta find a good view to get my shots. Shouldn't take too long. Oh, there's a great view of the canyon just up the trail there. He gestures in the direction with a half-eaten wrap. I wave to let him know that I've heard and make my way up the trail. The town's namesake isn't much of a canyon. You probably wouldn't even realize it is one without being told. I sidle up as close to the edge as I'm willing, taking a look over the side. Feet pressed pebbles over the side. They clatter down the edge of the cliff. It's dizzying, and I dig my toes into the rocks, feeling as if I'm going to tip over. Tears and rain mingle, finally letting go, going limp, wind giving the final push. I back away. Impact instead of release. Pain. I feel the buzzing starting up in my head again, and I sigh as I bend over and reach into my camera bag. I almost wish I could stay here until the sunset, since the canyon would be a great backdrop for it. But I definitely don't want to hike back into the middle of the night. It doesn't take long, and about 5 minutes later, I've got all the footage I need. Hiking all this way definitely isn't worth it, but of course that's not the reason why I did it. You finished? TJ walks up behind me as I'm bending over to pick up the camera, or to put the camera away. Yep. He hands me a water bottle and I take it from him gratefully, pouring it over my head and chest, the fur flattening down over my body. TJ looks at my torso, his muzzle quirking at the corner a bit. You know, you kind of look like Jared Grizz. I raise an eyebrow at him. The survivalist from the Wilderness Channel? What, just because I'm out in the wilderness and shirtless? Well, you saying all otters look the same? No, I mean, not just because you're an otter. I mean, your bodies are... Again, TJ's got me questioning certain things about him. TJ, I'm kidding. Yeah, right, of course. He rubs his shoulders sheepishly as he slowly walks up to the edge next to me. Whoa. He gets closer to the cliff, though he does it in a manner in which he's spread out his legs and arms, bracing himself against the ground. He peers over the side, looking absolutely ridiculous. We're so high up. I smirk, sneaking up behind him. Lingering for days, white bones poked through the skin, maggots feeding off the living. What? I grin, then suddenly slap both of my paws on his shoulders. Ah! He fills out twice the size, almost instantly, and flails around like a cartoon. Though I'm sure to keep my grip firmly on his shoulders, one of his windmilling paws catches me in the stomach. My laughing is cut off in a grunt, and I quickly pull him back before he can accidentally launch himself off the cliff. Jesus, TJ, calm down. His waving paws finally latch onto my fur, and before I know it, he's got his arms wrapped around my body. I stumble back, clinging to him as well. We stand like that for a few seconds, and I can't help but guiltily feel a little bit tight in my pants. Oh my god, Chase. It doesn't last long, though, and soon TJ lets go and swats me in the chest with the back of his paw. Are you kidding me, Chase? How could you? I'd respond, but I'm too busy trying to stop laughing. TJ wipes his paw on his pants. You got all your sweat on me. Hey, yeah, you didn't think I'd get you back after the tarantula prank. It wasn't real. I could have died. Calm down, you're safe now. I put a paw around his shoulder and pull him in close. He tenses up, but just relaxes after a few seconds. You're all wet and sweaty. You'll air dry. I stand there a while, not really ready to head back yet. That's when TJ lets out a sudden yell that almost makes me jump out of my fur. Yeah! I put both paws over my ears. TJ, what the frick? He frowns. Where's the echo? Huh? It's called Echo Canyon. Isn't it supposed to echo? Oh, Hey! I yell too, TJ lowering his ears a bit as we wait for the response. His ears perk. I think I heard it. Maybe we're just in the wrong area. But we're like right in front of it. TJ leans forward as if that will help and cups his paws around his muzzle before yelling as loud as he can. Yeah! This time I do hear a return. It's muffled, scratchy, ugly, but it's an echo, alright? TJ makes a face. That sounded kinda creepy. Well, what did you expect? Everything's crappy here. Including echoes. Blah! Again, we've answered with a raspy, ugly response, my voice twisted and distorted. Seems a bit silly to name the entire town after that. I think it fits. I grunt as I sit down, spreading out my legs with a sigh. TJ does the same, except his legs crossed. You really hate this place, don't you? He looks sideways at me. You don't? Of course not. All of my best friends are from here. I mean, some of it is bad, but why let the bad taint the good? I make a non-committal grunting sound. I wish we could all have just come up here. He really does look disappointed, and I feel bad about that. What, I'm not good enough? TJ giggles. I really am glad you came. It means a lot. It would have been pretty lonely otherwise. I look over at him, and he's looking right in my eyes. His powder blue gaze is really pretty, with the sunlight hitting it like that. He's smiling, and I smile back. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. He breaks eye contact to adjust his sitting position so that he can get it out of his pocket. Probably Jenna checking in on... I turn to look back at him when he goes quiet. He's furrowing his brow at his phone, as if trying to figure out what to say. Everything all right? Slowly, his face relaxes, but now his expression is dull, his eyes glazed over. TJ? I start to lean sideways to get a look at what the message might be, but TJ quickly shoves it back into his pocket. Nothing, just a long message from my mom. I can tell right away he's lying, which is fucking crazy because I don't think TJ's ever lied to me, at least not so easily. Is it bad? No, just something about when I come home for the summer. Oh, okay. It's weird because I know he's lying, and he probably knows that I know he's lying, but still here we are, playing along. He stares quietly at the canyon for a few seconds, then stands up, brushing himself off. All right, let's go. The cheerfulness in his voice is forced. It just sounds like he's about to cry. Like I said, it's all down here from here, literally. He turns away quickly and starts back down the trail, wiping his face. I hang back, wanting to give him time to get over whatever it is that's bothering him. I wonder if it's something to do with family, like a grandparent passing away or something. I feel too intrusive asking about it now, so I decide to put it off until tomorrow. The hike back is, like TJ said, literally downhill, so it's way easier than coming up. TJ still a little overbearing, making sure I have enough water and dumping a few unsolicited bottles of water over my head. Even then, he's still acting a bit detached. I try to stay upbeat, though, since TJ's never been one to sulk for long, I get him warmed back up pretty quickly. By the time we get back to the car, he's in a talkative mood again. So I'm thinking we get Jenna to go to the diner for dinner. Sound good? Sure, I'll text her. I reach out to turn on the radio, then I remember where we are. So, now that we've gone hiking out that way, what are we going to do for the rest of the trip? We've got like 3 days left. TJ rests his elbows against the door, tugging at the fur on his chin. Well, there are more trails than just that one. We could hike those too. I cringe inwardly at the thought of more hiking, but I don't say anything, and I'm pretty sure TJ knows I'm not into it. But you still need to do that stuff for your project too, right? I could help you with any research you might need to do. Maybe. It's pretty boring stuff. Well, the work, yeah, but hanging out together would make it fun. I grin at his eagerness. Well, alright, but I warn you, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, but. TJ smirks at me. Chase, you don't have to try so hard. Anyway, I just want to help. Turns out Jenna just walked out from the motel at the diner. Well, to the diner, not really wanting to wait for us. Me and TJ step inside, greeted by the smell of what you'd expect in any diner, burgers and fries. I'm flooded with old memories, and I'm actually kind of hungry right now. It's a place that I had gone to eat every weekend for over 10 years of my life. I smile despite myself. While I complained a lot about Echo, this place held incredibly happy memories, most of which involved my 5 friends. We see Jenna right away as she steps out from a booth next to the door. Hey boys! Hey! Sup? We make our way over to the booth, TJ sitting on the opposite bench while Jenna sits back to let me pass and sit next to her. She wrinkles her nose as I do. Phew! Maybe you should have showered before you got here. Thanks, Jenna. TJ probably smells too. Nah, he smells fine. Of course he does. Thanks, Jenna, and don't blame Chase. Otters are, naturally musky. I decide not to say anything and instead pull a menu out from the metal holder and flip through it. The table is greasy, so I try not to lean on it. So did you guys have fun? Yeah, made it all the way to the top. We did it faster than I thought we would, actually. Did you, yeah, he really freaked out. Yeah, I knew it. Did you film it? No. What? That's the reason you pull the pranks. Why didn't you film it? I forgot. I glare at the menu. Shouldn't let her corrupt you so easily, TJ. I try to think of some Satan metaphor that I could use, but that's when the giant plastic spider lands with a smack on top of the menu I'm looking at. Ah! I can't help myself and shove the menu and spider away from myself to fall over onto TJ's bench. I look up and Jenna's filming me with her phone, grinning. Stop it! I half-heartedly grab at the phone, but Jenna easily pulls it away. Oh my word, is that Chase? I look up to see the middle-aged coyote making her way from the back kitchen and around the corner. Hi, Janice. And Jenna and Tobias, too. I smile politely, only now realizing how loud our bantering must be in the small diner. Now, what in the world are y'all doing back here? Thought we wouldn't see you after your graduations. I've known Janice for as long as I can remember, her having always worked in this diner. In fact, she started here when she was about our age. Just like most of the town, though, once you're comfortable, you don't move much. Chase is filming the town for a school project. We decided to make a little reunion out of it. Well, isn't that nice? I bet Leo's mighty happy. He's been talking nonstop about you 3 since y'all left. Yeah, he pretty much organized the whole thing. Janice suddenly makes a face. Phew-wee, it's ripe over here. My face burns and I sit harder on my tail, staring at the menu. I think Duke sat there, forgot to spray the scent neutralizer. You know how weasels are. I feel Jenna stiffen up next to me, but thank God she doesn't say anything. Yeah, anyway, how have you been, Janice? Janice leans her hip against TJ's bench, clasping her paws and leaning an elbow on the back of it. Oh, can't complain. You haven't missed anything, trust me. Actually, I've been meaning to do a little spring cleaning. Not looking forward to it. My back doesn't bend like it always did. All the small talk, no, all the small town, small talk niceties and speciesism is starting to make me zone out when suddenly TJ pipes up. Will help. Janice beams. Well, you know I could never ask that of you, especially while you're on vacation. TJ chuckles. Actually, me and Chase were talking about how we had nothing to do. I think it's a good idea. I can see from Jenna's tight smile that she's feeling exactly the same way I am. TJ and his goddamn need to be a good Samaritan. Oh, Tobias, you're an incredible young man. You know that? I'm just wanting to be helped, ma'am. When can we come over? Oh, I don't know. How does sometime tomorrow evening sound when it's nice and cool? Sure. Well, thanks again, Toby. You're really one of a kind. TJ beams up at her, then at me, then frowns as he sees the look on my face. Now, what can I get you? After Janice takes our orders, she bustles off back to the back, leaving me and Janet to glare at TJ. TJ at first pretends he doesn't notice and starts to adjust the salt and pepper shakers, trying to place them evenly between the menu holder. That was nice seeing her again. We don't say anything. Finally, the tension becomes too much and he gives up on the salt and pepper shakers to look up at us. What? You know what exactly. We didn't come here to clean up Echo's mess. Speaking of which, Jenna reaches past me to grab a towelette and starts wiping our table, wrinkling her nose. Disgusting. There's no harm in helping someone. Chase, you told me you didn't know what else we could do. TJ starts to doodle on a napkin with one of the coloring pencils from a pack they leave on the tables. Honestly, Tej, I'd rather hike another trail. Please don't. I'm marinating in your otter musk right now. God damn it. Chase! Glaring, I nudge Jenna to the side off the bench so I can get out. When she does, I stomp my way over to the single restroom. I sigh as I let the heavy door ease shut behind me, pressing on the push button style lock. The quiet coolness is a welcome relief, even if it is a restroom. I put my palms to my eyes and rub them in circular motions, trying to ease the headache that has been building up since this afternoon. I stand in front of the sink and run my paws under the faucet for a while before bringing some water up to my face. It feels good, but the headache continues to pound. In fact, it feels like it's getting worse. I squint at the mirror, the light suddenly becoming too bright for my eyes. Is this a migraine? I've never had one before. Have I? I continue staring at my face, feeling the pressure build. Pretty soon, there's a strange sound in my ears, like a tuning orchestra, and I feel my heart rate pick up. What the hell? Is this a stroke? Am I having a stroke? At that moment, looking at myself in the mirror, my eyes just drop. They move in towards the center of my face. At that same time, the side of my muzzle curves up unbelievably high, giving me a ghastly smile, one that goes up and up, past the top of my head. Fleeting. I remember playing with my laptop's camera once, putting on some effects that my face would distort in ridiculous ways. It looks almost exactly like that. Then the earth gives way, falls out from under me, and my paws slap the sink as I hold onto it to stop from falling sideways into the wall. The fuck? My voice squeaks as I try to find my footing. I shut my eyes to stop myself from throwing up, and slowly, the roaring dies down and I feel myself regain my balance. I crack my eyes open and see my face is back to normal, the light at a tolerable level again. I open my eyes the rest of the way and stare at myself, my reflection staring wide-eyed back. I'm breathing hard, my chest heaving, pupils dilated. Looking down at my knuckles, I see the skin is white through the fur. I slowly let go of the sink and look at my shaking paws. What the hell? My muzzle is dry and I swallow a few times. I take a drink, but I don't trust the dirty faucet. After a few moments, I'm able to calm down, realizing I'm probably not dying. In fact, my head feels pretty clear at the moment. I'm pretty sure it was a migraine. Migraines can do that to people, right? Yeah, kind of. I draw in a shaky breath again before grabbing a few paper towels from the dispenser. I run them lightly under the water, adding a few pumps of foamy soap as well. Mom has migraines all the time. I'll call her about it tomorrow. Able to keep my paws steady now, I run the soaped up towel under my arms a few times. After a quick look to make sure that the door is locked, I undo my belt and push down my pants and boxers to around my thighs. If I really want to take care of the musk smell, I'm gonna have to go down under. I run a few more paper towels under the faucet and the soap dispenser. Just as I'm sliding the towel against my tail base, I hear a knock, and the lever-style handle rattles. I jump and look back, not really worried since I know it's locked. Because this place is a fucking piece of shit, I'm just in time to see the button lock pop out. The handle swings down and the door opens up enough for the lynx's head to poke through. There I am, pants down, a paper towel under my tail, looking like I'm wiping my ass while I moon my Christian best friend. I think we stay like that for at least 10 seconds before TJ blinks. Oh my gosh, sorry! He squeaks it out as fast as I can barely hear it before he yanks his head out and the door closes with a snap. Fucking fuck! I snarl between my teeth as I scrub myself, then throw away the towel. I feel like I'm gonna cry. It's like the entire universe is conspiring against me right now. I sigh and wash my hands, realizing that the longer I delay going out there, the stupider I'm gonna look. When I come back out, I see TJ stand up immediately, eyes staring straight ahead as I walk past each other before he heads into the bathroom. Jenna stands up to let me back into the booth. Everything all right? Yep. As we sit down, Jenna sips from her glass of water, then starts sucking on an ice cube. So I know TJ had fun, but did you? I drum my fingers on the table, still feeling a bit numb from the embarrassment. Yeah, it was fine. About as miserable as I thought it would be, so no surprise. Honestly, I actually kind of wished I'd gone with you two. Oh yeah? Then I remembered that AC is a thing, so I didn't feel that way anymore. At least you're built for this kind of weather. True, doesn't mean I have to like it. So, what did you do? Sit around all day? I studied for a while, then Flynn and Leo came by, actually. Oh really? Yeah, they wanted to have lunch with us. Leo was pretty disappointed when he found out you weren't there. They brought a bunch of presents for Carl and had me choose which ones I wanted to give him. How thoughtful. Jenna shrugs. Anyway, Flynn was pretty quiet. She doesn't say anything more, so I press her. Oh? Yeah, just kind of subdued. I guess he might be feeling sorry? I don't know. Well, here's hoping he comes around. Anyway, they're planning a surprise party for Carl. Isn't that, not for a few weeks? Yeah, but we want to have it while we're all here. Jenna drags a drop of condensation around the outside of her glass for a moment. Just between you and me, and don't tell TJ this because I told him I wouldn't tell you, but he said he was really glad to have you along. He says you're what he misses most about this town. Really? That kind of surprises me. We're really good friends, but to say that I was what he missed the most... I look outside. Again, the sky is painted red and orange and what almost looks like purple. He drew this so I can see what happened when he pranked you, to make up for not recording it. I look back down to the table as Jenna slides over a napkin TJ had been doodling on. It's a stick figure with a thick tail, I assume me, is lying on the ground. His mouth bigger than his face as he screams. Next to him is a giant spider. Standing over them both is a stick figure with the big, tufted ears, I assume TJ, with his stick arms put up over his face, clearly feeling guilty. Cute. Isn't it though? Despite my sarcasm, I really do think it's cute, especially the TJ figure. Shit. What? Forgot my purse. She stands up. I'll be right back. Huh, why? I'll pay for you. Don't worry about it. The motel's like 5 minutes away. You can pay me back. But she's already out the door. I sigh, watching her make her way down the road through the window. That's when TJ slides back onto his bench. I quickly look down, feeling my cheeks burn all over again. Sorry about that, I just wanted to wash up too. I don't know why, considering TJ looks kept no matter what he does, I force myself to look up. Funny drawing. He looks at the napkin and gives a little laugh. Oh, she showed you that. Wait, where'd she go? Forgot her purse. Oh. We sit in unbearably awkward silence for a while before I finally sigh and lean my face against the paw as I stare hard out the window. Okay, so I wasn't wiping my ass. You know otters have glands. Chase! I look over at TJ and he's smiling. I know, I shouldn't have opened the door. You were just taking a while, and we were wondering if you were alright. I look up as I see Janice making her way over, our food on a giant tray. I guess it's really the lock's fault. Oh, having problem with the restroom door? Make sure it's jammed shut real tight. Should lock up then. Thanks. As the plates are set down, I'm faintly surprised at the portion size, not used to getting this much in the city. Janice immediately bustles off to another customer. And I look up from my giant sandwich and fries, grabbing the ketchup bottle. It was kind of cute. TJ immediately looks down, pretending to read the menu even though we've already ordered our food. I feel like my brows are almost going to shoot off my forehead as I stare at him. What does Applewood smoke mean anyways? Oh no, you're not getting off that easy. Did you just call my butt cute? No! TJ's ears fall flat, and I'm kinda satisfied that he's the one feeling embarrassed right now. I just like otters have cute tails, that's all. I snort. Yeah, I can see by the way you drew mine here. Sorry. Don't be. So yeah, I'm testing the waters here. It's been a while since I've played this game with a guy, and who the fuck thought the next one would be TJ, but here I am. Stupid horny otter. I keep looking over at TJ, waiting for him to look up. Finally, he does look up at me for a moment, and we lock eyes. I smirk, and he smiles in return before looking back down. Well, that's something. I sit on a big rock next to the shore, watching the tiny waves lap up at the smaller rocks. Across the lake, maybe a half a mile away, I see my friends, all of them, floating on something. It's my car. They're all in my car. Leo's driving. He's got sunglasses on. Even from this distance, I see him look across the lake at me. He waves, then makes a finger gun, shoots it at me, making a clicking sound with his tongue. Flynn sits next to him, head back, sleeping. Carl's drawing on his face. Jenna sits in the back and reads. And TJ? Where's TJ? There he is. He's swimming after the car. Colors fall flat. I feel sticky and sick. Something isn't right. I'm at the canyon again. I'm looking over the edge. TJ's on the ground. He's staring at me. Maggots in his eyes. Something moves in the bushes next to him. Something. A paw? Is that a paw? It reaches out towards TJ. The lake. I'm staring at the lake, but the day is clear. The sky is blue and there are things in the water. 5, 6 things float in the water. Bodies. Bodies float in the water. I watch the bodies float, bobbing up and down, and one looks very familiar. This isn't right. This isn't me. What is this? Something across the lake. I see something across the lake. There's a tool shed. A tool shed is across the lake, and I see the door open. There isn't a tool shed next to the lake. Something steps out. Wednesday. Carl's surprise birthday party day. And we're gonna leave it there for now because I have stuff to do. So yes, thank you for watching or for listening, and let's pretend you don't see that. And yeah, it seems like the horny otter is trying to get in with the lynx, and that probably won't end awkwardly, will it? But it also seems like the Lynx might be a little into Chase. But we'll see what happens. So, thank you for listening, and we will hopefully continue this tomorrow. If not, the day after. Actually, no, yeah, because Christmas Eve falls on a Thursday and Christmas is on Friday. So, I will probably have episodes pre recorded for those 2 days if I have time. Or if, I want to. But yeah, thank you for listening, and bye bye.